How long gone? It is Chris Black coming to you on a steamy Thursday in New York City. Jason was really good.
Why so steamy?
It's already disgusting. We skipped, of course, into straight up disgusting, 85 degrees, extreme humidity type beat.
Oh, yeah, right now, 86 degrees, humidity 50%, 5-mile-an-hour winds. And then, of course, come the weekend, you get that plus rain. So that's going to be fun for you. You like a hot rain?
I love, hot rain's my favorite weather genre. I'm going to be out of town, luckily, but I'm sure I'll get rain wherever I go. That's kind of the luck that I have.
Because you're so stupid and so unlucky. Okay. Well, over here in Glendale, it's a little overcast, a little gloomy. I'm sure it's going to shape up to be just a stunning... Let me check it out right now. 62. Around 3 o'clock, it'll be at 74 max. It's really beautiful.
I thought it was flooding yesterday.
Flooding?
Yeah, wasn't there crazy rain there yesterday or no?
No, I mean, I'm always feeding the streets with content, but there's been zero. We had like 10 minutes of rain.
So weird. I swear I saw that. Maybe it was a different part of California, but it was like a KTLA or someone was reporting it. It was a California local.
Yeah. I think, when you get that rain where it's a very light sprinkle, but the droplets are quite thick and girthy and substantive. You know what I mean? Some plonkers really coming down.
I don't understand how they can be both thick and thin, but I like you're saying the amount is small, but the drops are big.
Yes, it's scattered sprinkles, but the droplets that do sprinkle down are thick and heavy and substantive.
Sure. Is that why do you bring? Is that something that happened to you, or you just?
That is something that happened yesterday.
I see.
The rain that we were just discussing in Los Angeles. That's the type that it was, where it doesn't even look like it's not even enough rain to really coat the sidewalk. It's just very sparse, but you can hear it coming down on your rooftops. Big boys dropping down.
Sure. No, of course. I mean, I feel like I got hailed on recently, and I kind of forgot how wild hail is as far as sound goes. I mean, it feels dangerous.
Okay, so let's get on to more local news for our international audience. You said there was an explosion?
It looks, I mean, I didn't hear or see the explosion, but when I was coming back to my house, there was like a bunch of grip trucks. They're obviously shooting some garbage in the neighborhood at somewhere, and it looked.
You don't know.
Yeah, I do know. When 90% of things that come out are garbage, you have to assume that what they're shooting is garbage.
Sure.
That's simple math.
Sure.
But it looked like I was like, I thought there was a dead body because there's so many people standing around this like pile. And then I got closer and realized a door had blown off like a grip truck, and it was a bunch of wires and shit and like supplies that I guess had been on fire. And so there's multiple full-size fire trucks.
Oh, no.
Blocking the street. So I'm praying for all my union guys out there. Hopefully, no one got hurt. If they did, they'll be, raking in millions. But hopefully no one got hurt.
Yeah, luckily the C-stands that my union guys use, they could take a licking.
Can you imagine getting hit with shrapnel from a C-stand walking down Bowery? Oh, man, that's a tough way to go.
Heavenly way to die, if you ask me.
As I've said before, I want to die in a helicopter or a plane. Shrapnel from photo equipment, video equipment is not how I want to go.
Water from your eyes, shrapnel from the C-stands. As a budding photographer, I saw you just did some recent shoots for Haas Doc Biet.
Yes.
In Interview magazine. Congratulations. Have you ever considered owning any photography equipment outside of your camera? As in a little C-stand, maybe a little light, maybe one of those reflective things that they hold up to bounce slide. You could call it a bounce.
You're talking about the bounce.
What if you had just a couple C-stands around the crib, right?
I don't think that's really what I need. I mean, that is all stuff that is easily rentable. I'm actually shooting this afternoon. It's all rented. I don't need to. I mean, I think it's good to have it if you want it, but I don't think I necessarily need that. I also have nowhere to keep the seamless setup for portraits when somebody comes by. I don't really have the space for that.
Would you like that though?
Not really. I'm not into equipment. I don't think equipment is. I just think that's a different kind of person.
So you wouldn't like to have a sink wall in your home studio flat.
I would rather go somewhere to do that, and if I had that space, I would put in a gym.
Got it. I just want to know what kind of daydreaming you're doing. That's all.
I don't daydream at all. Actually, I have no dreams. I have no hopes. I kind of try to keep it as flat as possible.
Are you really dream free? As a sober person, dreams kind of all you got, right? Dreams is your drugs.
That's all you got. I'm pretty dream free, actually. I'm sort of a head down.
It's the hashtag dream free movement. I mean, I'm dream free. I'm not dream free. The more weed you smoke right before bed, the less dreams you have. We all know that.
I just don't. I know that I have no control over what happens in the future, really. So I have to just do everything I can to ensure that it's good. But dreaming seems fruitless to me.
We're talking potentially about two different kinds of dreams.
Like at
there's
night.
the dreams and like the hopes and aspirations that one day I'm going to be Terry Richardson or whatever. And then there's I had a dream where Dikembe Mutombo kept fucking my wife and I had to fight him, but then my arms weren't working when I tried to punch him and he started chasing me and I was running as fast as I can, but I wasn't moving anywhere.
No, I don't have either of those.
You've never had the Mutombo?
No, I don't have. I mean, also people are. I think people. I don't know how real.
Did you ever dream when you were a kid?
I guess. I'm sure I did. But I think when I hear dream, I'm so disinterested in what you thought about when you were asleep that I immediately go to, hopes for the future.
Okay. I got it. That makes sense. But it's kind of interesting because I don't like dreams because they're, like you were saying, like film and television, 90% of them are bad. It's very rare when you're like, I had a dope dream. I could fly and have sex with whoever I wanted, and there's free caviar. That happens.
I've never
handful of times for your entire life.
I've never woken. I honestly couldn't tell you one dream I've ever had. I can't. I'm sure I've had them, but I cannot remember them. Because what is the deal? What is the deal that weed?
Doctors got to study you.
Weed adds more dreams or takes them away. Which one is it?
I would say it takes them away.
That's right.
The common consensus.
Well, when I was fighting my biggest demons that would have appeared in dreams, I was high as hell before I went to bed. So maybe
Okay. Well, this is a common gripe among friends of mine who are usually smoking a lot of weed. Let's say you travel to a foreign country where it is, punishable by death or whatever, and you got to take 2 weeks off while you're in, whatever country that is. And that's when the dreams, it's a waterfall, a Niagara fall of dreams and nightmares. So when you stopped being drugged and you became sober, did you have a Niagara Falls, or are you really just built that differently?
I honestly don't remember, so I assume I didn't. I also think people are just lying. I think that people are just lying. I just think it's like, I think that like if you wake up every day and you have a dream journal, I think that you have brought that upon yourself, and I think you're manifesting that, which is fine if that's what you want. I don't know if these are as naturally occurring as people want them to be. As much as the Long Island medium wants them to be, I don't know if they're as
okay. So you're saying it's not necessarily uncontrollable. The dreams happen to those who want dreams to happen to.
Yeah. I think if you put out sort of like a dreamer vibe.
I mean, the nightmare community is going to be frustrated with that statement. I'm just letting you know.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to speak for all the nightmare havers.
All of our listeners out there who are dealing with crippling sleep trauma, stress dreams, anxiety, things that we would never imagine thinking of in a million years, they're like, yeah, that's cool. I wish that happened. I wish I could just turn that off. Maybe you just need some more trauma in your life. No more trauma in my life.
I'm good on that.
Okay.
I'm very good on that. But yeah, dreaming's for losers. Don't forget that. Either one or the other, asleep or for the future. It doesn't matter. You can't. There's nothing you can do about it. It's not gonna. Sometimes it's gonna go your way. Sometimes it's not gonna go your way. That's just how it is.
Okay. Chris is not manifesting on this side a single thing. But some people, especially folks over down at BetterHelp, they would argue that dreams happen to those who do not process their thoughts. If you don't process your shit, dream gonna process it for you. And all that being said, that means you are maybe one of the more processed, therapized mentally healthy people in the world, right, Chris?
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely what
Like we're like, oh, well, when you're doing a budget or something like that for a photo shoot, and they're like, well, we have like a few extra thousand in case things go wrong, whatever it may be. You know what I mean? Extra travel budgets or additional fees that we weren't expecting. You are the version of that where you're like, no, we don't need that. Everything is accounted for. Everything is taken care of.
I don't think. I think I might think. Actually, no, I don't think that because I know it's not true. But what a great place that would be to get to, because I think we all think about our problems too much because now that's rewarded in society. Like who can have the most problems and talk about it the most and complain about it the most is like a way of life now. We have too many avenues to discuss it, which, obviously I'm guilty of using, but I just mean like I would never bring up a problem or a problem of any real substance on this podcast or on like social media because that doesn't do any good, but that doesn't stop the masses from doing so.
Well, it doesn't do you any good, but it could do good for some people who are not as emotionally advanced as you are.
It could do good for my haters that want. It could do well for my haters that want to see me fail.
Maybe that's what the hang up is. We don't want the haters to see.
I just don't know. There was a time where shame existed in culture, and I think that we were better for it. That's all I'll say. I think there's a level of shame that should be applied to everyone's psyche, and we might be better off.
Hey, I agree with that completely. Actually, when you were talking about right before that, it reminded me I was watching the final episode or the finale episode of the John Mulaney live Netflix show, and it was about teens. Like, what are teens doing? What are they thinking? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
At the end, he fights 3 14-year-olds in the ring. It's funny.
I saw that listed on the billing, and I was like, damn, I'm not going to watch this, but that's funny as hell. I know that's good.
But he had some big guests on, Adam Sandler, Sean Penn, all these people. And then he had a 16-year-old high school student as just like the resident teen to be on the board in case they wanted to consult with a teen.
Yeah.
And they're like, do you have any, ailments or anxieties or whatever? And she was very almost proud to announce that she has every single form of OCD known to man. Her life is, a crippling hell, and she has no life outside of school. That's the only thing. When it was all fun and games, and then when she announced, her myriad OCD syndromes and symptoms and all the pain that she's going through in life, everyone on the board, like all the 40, 50-year-old adults sitting on the dais were just like, huh, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
like what do we do with it?
Yeah, exactly. That's my whole point. What do we do with it? That's her problem, not the panels, is what I'm saying. Not that I just think there's a level of sympathy that can be given, but that doesn't actually help you, figure it out.
We got to bring that shame back. Back in the day, I knew a lot of OCD people. Maybe I had a little bit dusting as well, and a little shame. Like, what? I have an obsessive compulsive disorder, and I should try to change it and get better at it, and maybe remove it from my life if it's hurting my quality of life, versus put it in my bio and have it be the flag that I wave. Oh, don't worry, there's a reason why.
Is there an OCD flag emoji yet on Instagram? Because I feel like we need to create sort of like an LGBTQ plus style flag for the OCD community. Okay. Because they do love to be seen. They love to be seen.
I pulled up Reddit r/OCD. What do you think about OCD pride flags or even mental health flags? And
let me guess, there are thousands of responses saying that's a great idea. Here's my PSD file. Please take it.
Yeah, actually, the first comment, I'm confused by disability pride flags. I figure if it helps somebody else come to terms with their own disorder, then that's their business. But I get weirded out when people apply it to characters because it feels like it's romanticizing the disorder.
I don't want. Let's be clear. I don't know if that, like, disability is a very strong word. I think it can be a
scale,
disability.
It's a spectrum. It's a scale. It's a spectrum.
I mean, every time I leave the house, I have to turn the lights on and off 250 times. But I'm not asking for anyone to help me with that. That's just what I do.
I'm very OCD about stuff, processes that I'm doing with my whatever, something in the kitchen, the way I'm cutting a vegetable or the way I'm editing a podcast or whatever it may be. And that's fine. I'm able to manage it. But there's people with OCD who are, your life is...
No, of course. No, of course. I just think that it's...
You're chained to the radiator of your mind. But this comment says, perhaps instead of waving a flag, a ribbon acknowledges that you have a disease or a disorder. Waving the flag is saying like, hey guys, this is me. This is my thing. I mean, it's hard. It's a hard thing to argue that we should not be forming communities around your disabilities.
We have too many communities. That's the whole issue. There's too. There's too. Every brand is a community on Instagram. How many communities could you be a part of?
Yeah, we need to remove communities. That's when the internet got bad. When Twitter has a button on there for communities.
Community is something.
Digital communities are really bad.
I have to talk about this a lot at work. And communities are real.
Talk your shit, Chris.
Well, communities are real. It's just, it's not people commenting on a post on Instagram is not a community. That's just not what that is. That's people using social media as it was intended. Mm-hmm. I don't know if the word community has any meaning anymore. At least when it's applied to brands. You know what I mean? Because that's who's co-opted it.
Yeah, community nowadays means a group of people that all buy this thing.
yeah. Like you going to the every other Thursday pop-up and getting your high crown hat and sweatshirt doesn't make you part of waiting in line for Kith treats doesn't make you part of a community.
We just get together and we just like we have matcha and I just like being around other creatives. It's like actually really inspiring for my DJing.
It's 450 amateur graphic designers. We jog 3 miles, and then we get a croissant and a matcha, and we sit around and we just kind of chop it up. Yeah, I like to be around like-minded individuals.
Yeah, I think on the internet at least, or in social media, the only communities that should exist are devious ones. It should not be where we're all going to get around and go for a jog and clean up the beach.
If you really want to be, part of a community, get on Facebook like a real head.
Or the real communities of the internet and social media. We're a bunch of guys that like trading deep fakes, whatever.
Yeah.
I've got schematics for how to build a small bomb, whatever it might be,
Yeah. Here's how to make a 9mm out of plastic and household items.
That's the community that the internet deserves.
Right.
We do not need to have a community based around...
You're right. I think that there should be some sinister elements,
of course,
to that for it to really, really work.
Because the first community I joined was the Boy Scouts. There's a sinister edge to that.
Oh, yeah, for sure, yeah.
Teaches you about the real life. You need to know about the dark side of the world so you know where to avoid.
That's true.
I'm in Boy Scouts. Luckily, nobody sticking a dickie into me, but that was a thing that was going around. That's why the Boy Scouts don't really exist anymore. And it seems like propaganda created by Big Girl Scout to sell more cookies. They said, "Oh, don't join the Boy Scouts."
They had a revenue stream, and the Boy Scouts got lapped, touching or not.
It's bullshit.
I would always rather be part of something that has a revenue stream. Call me crazy.
Okay, there we go.
Even though I do think that the scouting does teach incredible skills that I will never ever possess. So I am jealous in some ways that I can't tie 15 different knots. I don't know how often that would come up.
Just like most things that we learn in childhood, I'm never going to need to recall division or state capitals.
I would say state capitals comes up more than most of these things, strangely. Not like I'm put on the spot, but I feel like that knowledge is rattling around in my brain and is somehow more useful than algebra.
I would say that it's not more useful, but you might think it is because your brain has somehow been able to recall state capitals more than other things. And when I say you, I'm talking about me, where I used to be mommy's special boy who could name all the capitals all by myself. But when when we got into complex multiplications and divisions involving 4 to 5 digits, I'm like, okay, we're out.
No, yeah, there's absolutely no chance.
But now as an adult, the only time where you need to recall any of that information is when you're calculating how much to tip at your local wine bar.
When we were doing public announcement, we were doing the podcast, since Jay and I both dropped out of high school, we were going to go get our GED and see if we could do it without, Like if we could just pop up and take the test.
Oh, okay. If you could pull up, do a no-look GED.
Yeah, if we just pull up, do a no look GED, and I'm pretty sure Jay is brilliant, so he might have been able to pull it off. I would have failed miserably. It's like a woman with a driver's test. You know what I mean? I'm gonna fail at least once.
I'm so good at the driver's test.
Oh, I'm nasty with the driver's test, but nah, bro. I'll parallel park using my blinkers. I ain't
the
afraid.
last time I got it, I was accused of cheating the last time.
How do you cheat? How do you cheat? Like on the written portion or the driving portion?
On the written
okay, all right.
portion, the written portion,
that's fair.
Portion.
I don't think I've driven a like driver's test like in the car since I was 16.
Neither have I.
Okay, I didn't know if they made you, but you can in California. Do you have to take the written one when you renew at some point?
I think every maybe 10 years,
certain amount
or
of
something
years
like that. You have to retake it.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm at the DMV here in Glendale with my Armenian homies, and there's like an 84-year-old woman taking the written test. She's never said a word of English in her life, and she's looking at it just like, I have no idea what this is. 5 days later, she's behind the wheel of a Rolls Royce, and nobody knows what happened. Nobody knows how I got there.
Hey, man, look, she might be. Look, you love to talk about AI. Maybe Granny fired it up, got the answers. She's good to go.
She had the Meta Ray-Bans on.
I think
Hey,
Grok.
Siri,
I think Grok.
what is answer for number 4?
Grok could help you cheat on the. I think that I think.
I found this on the web. What is the answer for number 4? Check it out.
Sorry.
I wonder if old people are cheating on tests like that because it's so easy to cheat now.
They have to be.
I wonder if we've gotten to that point where they're like they got grandson helping them out on the laptop.
There has to be something going on, because when the question is like, there's a cyclist approaching on the left at a 4-way stop.
Yeah.
A yellow light happens on the right, and I'm driving this car and you're in this direction. Which passenger has the right of way, or does the pedestrian have the right of way? This is a person where if you ask them, like, what color is that hat? They'll be like, eh. They won't even produce a word.
It's more of a sound than an answer. Sure.
But nevertheless, brand new 7 Series.
Gotta have the 7 Series. I was reading the big Clipse story in GQ, and there's a part where the
rapper Clipse,
the rap group Clipse, and Frazier, the guy who wrote it, was like, yeah, I wanted to talk about one of the bars in the new album because I was bumping it in my Audi, and then you said nobody's driving Audis but the housekeeper. And I just, or something like that. And he's like, yeah. And it was just it was really funny to ask a rapper that, like, that your 6 Series Audi is not good enough for.
Hey, mister, do you really think my Audi's not good enough?
Do you think my Audi stinks because you have Rolls Royce truck? But I thought that was a really funny question to ask someone.
It is a funny question, and it's still fuck Clipse on this side for me.
Why?
One time I opened for them at the House of Blues in downtown Disney, and they were like 4 hours late and then punked me at the end backstage.
Do you not think maybe...
I've told you this story before.
I don't know if you have. So you're saying punked, meaning they didn't dap you up or take a flick with you for your BuzzNet page? Like, what do you mean? Like, what?
Okay.
What did they? What do you?
I hope you're sitting.
They didn't
down.
acknowledge the white boy with the fucking snapback on, with the flat brim and the hundreds tee.
Can I finish? So it's one of those, doors at 7, Clipse on at 8 kind of thing. And my dumbass was DJing from 7 till about, let's call it 10:38 on a Wednesday. Just
all right. So the Serato's losing power. You're suffering.
The Serato's saying, "I've given her all she's got, boss. She can't take it no more."
You have to start smacking the Serato in different areas to make it work.
Yeah. I type in, which Young Jeezy songs have I not played yet? 0 results found. The well is tapped. I have a room full of foos looking at me as if I am the reason why the Clipse isn't playing.
Yeah.
People are screaming at me, throwing drinks at me, booing me, and I'm playing like Soulja Boy, tell them. I don't have any more real hip hop. All the MF Doom has been dusted. So then I finally finally finish, of my 4-hour DJ set that was supposed to be 37 minutes. I go backstage, and then the Clipse and all of their crew are eating a big meal. There's catered food everywhere. Wings, rice and beans and corn and delicious meal. And I walk up and I'm like, all right, guys, I'm all done, waiting for them to be like, hey, thanks for opening. Great job. And they're like, oh, hey, come over here, man. You want some food? You already, you did a long set. Come over and get some food. I walk up, grab a plate, and they're like, get the fuck out of here. We ain't giving you no food.
I'm sorry, Jason, but you know that if that happened to anyone else, you would think that's awesome.
It was all of it was awesome. And it was, me and
That's
like
really
37 scary guys, and then me alone.
All of Virginia Beach was in Anaheim that night, and you're saying they said you can't have any of these rice and peas, young buck. Time for you to get out of here.
I'm folding my laptop with like a cobra snake sticker on it and putting it back into my backpack. And they're like, so no riblets for me, okay. So yeah, they punked me. They were mean.
Do you think it was Pusha T and No Malice, or do you think it was one of the crew members though that actually punked you?
I think it was a crew member. If I'm being honest,
I think the crew members usually have worse attitudes than the actual star. Not that I'm making excuses for the clique.
No, absolutely. The crew members, they're driving the Audis. They're not in the G-Wagons.
The weed carrier is going to give you more attitude than the superstar. Ariana Grande is going to offer you a hit of the blunt, but her thugs ain't going to do that.
Yeah, it's like, the assistant that's been working there for 4 years, and you think you're going to get the job, but you don't, and you got a chip on your shoulder. It's like that, but instead of like doing coffee runs, you have to like stab a guy every once in a while. And those are the ones that are going to lash out backstage.
That's so funny. That's a really good story, and I'm glad that you're brave enough to share it.
And it's fuck Clipse until they send me an apology.
Yeah, I need a written apology.
Clipse, I'm glad that you chose Cause artwork for your album in 2025 just to really put the icing on the washed cake. I'm glad that Chad has left Pharrell, and Pharrell can't make good music anymore, and you got to listen and play that shit. This is what you deserve for treating DJ Them Jeans that way at Downtown Disney.
I think this happening at Downtown Disney really makes it good.
Your life of piss is deserved.
I think he said that, which this is actually kind of crazy. I guess there was a song on the album that had some sort of Drake stuff, like, because it was a Kendrick feature. And they were like, you got to take this off. And he was like, no, fuck that. And bought himself out of the contract at Def Jam for 7 figures.
Wow. Okay. Good for him.
I didn't know people did. That feels like something that like they would threaten to do, but not actually do. You know what I mean? They'd be like, oh, you got to take it off. You got to take it off. And you're like, no, I'm not doing it. They're like, all right, fuck it, whatever.
Do you think he had any funding or backing for that 7-figure offer, or is he liquid enough to drop over that many figures?
I think he might be liquid enough. I think some of these guys low key make a lot of money, and I also think that it's like that is a cool thing to do, because then you get to tell people that you did it.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a very cool thing to be like,
yeah,
they tried to censor me and I said, fuck that, wrote them a check, and now it's coming out as is.
And they've been in the game long enough to where they probably didn't have like a predatory 360 deal.
Yeah, definitely.
So Def Jam is like, oh no, we're gonna lose the revenue on 13,000 albums sold. Oh no, I guess you'll have to buy, but they're making a lot of money on endorsements, brand deals, live shows, et cetera, et cetera. But in terms of, record sales,
I mean, I think the only people selling records are Taylor Swift and Drake. In reality, like real numbers.
And country.
I mean, yeah, I guess, but like, I think like major label hard-on numbers, I think it's like there's 5 people, maybe.
Yeah, what Spotify monthly listeners? Guess what Clipse is sitting at?
I don't look at Spotify. I have no idea what these numbers mean.
1.1 million monthly listeners.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I think most people listening to that are old, and I think if streaming to me seems like streaming numbers like that, like the monthly shit, it always seems crazy to me because it feels like it's like Claro with 100 million monthly. You know what I mean? It's like, oh shit, I didn't realize it was like that. It's always a surprise.
1.1 is low. Claro's got 19 million monthly listeners. Respectable.
But what does a monthly listener mean? What does that actually mean?
That means that's how many plays they get per month.
Sure, but then some of the songs are in the billions.
Yeah.
But it's like the
Older ones.
Okay, those things are okay. I just didn't know. But do I have to come back to count as monthly, or once counts?
I think just once counts, and it changes and fluctuates every month. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. It could be an algorithm.
It sounds right.
Based on some type of data, and it's not literally just.
I just can't believe that people are like. It's crazy that Drake started this like we're gonna sue record labels thing, and I think it's like sticking. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Where it's like, bro, used to be you would just talk shit about somebody that comes out. You talk shit about them, it comes out. Eventually, it peters out, or you kill each other. That's the kind of that's the way it goes. Suing to stop something feels really crazy. That makes me feel like you're no longer an artist, and you are now just straight up like a businessman with a lawyer.
Yeah, but you kind of have to be if you want to take down these record labels that are sort of rotten to the core. Where now we are living in the time where we no longer need those systems, and it's so much easier for a Drake or a Hassan Piker or a whoever to make they make their $1 million very easily.
Don't give Hassan Piker. Don't give political Twitch streamer Hassan Piker any airtime. Okay. Let's not do that.
Okay.
Let's not do that.
He was an example of somebody where, in order for Capitol Records to make $1 million, it takes a lot of work, a lot of time, and a lot of overhead. And in order for Drake to make $1 million, he posts a steak ad on his Instagram story. There's zero overhead, zero employees, zero insurance, zero retirement, zero blah, blah, blah. So it's pretty easy for these big boys to just take down these institutions pretty easily now.
I mean, but that's the thing. I don't think they're actually taking down any institutions. I think they're suing them, and maybe they're getting some money, but it makes them look bad to a certain kind of person. But I guess other people like respect it.
It makes Drake look bad for suing the record label, or makes the record label look bad?
It makes you look corny to sue a record label because your feelings got hurt. You know what I mean? Like that is just corny, and that's what it is. But I guess maybe some people don't think that. Like who would think that's like a cool thing to do?
People that want to take down the establishment, people who want to take down
no one that listens to Drake wants to take down the establishment. This isn't Black Flag suing Universal Music Group.
One could argue that somebody like Drake is taking down these big companies that are fucking over these artists, and Drake is being the knight in shining armor who can go in, who has the power behind him, the money behind him to really make a difference and make some change happen for your turnstiles of the world, and for your schmerzes of the world, and your Portisheads of the world who are making $37,000 a year off of their album sales when they used to make millions.
I just don't think that I don't think that Drake is fighting the good fight for any reason. I think Drake does what Drake does for him and him only. I don't think he's trying to like set a precedent, or I guess he's not even pretending to set a precedent. Like Taylor Swift buying all this shit back, like she is definitely trying to stand on that and be like, I am changing the way you know what I mean? That's sort of her statement. Drake feels like I'm the most spiteful guy on planet Earth, and I'm going to get everyone that I can get for as much money as I can get them for, which in some ways I do respect. But I also think that if I'm an artist that talks about killing people, I think being litigious at every chance you get makes you look like a pussy at the same time.
It's a little counterintuitive to what your whole ethos is, but
that's it. That's it.
In order to take down the big biz, you have to sort of act like one. And if you want to play on their field. You sort of have to become a business yourself.
No, for sure. Absolutely. And I hopefully things level out and, some of these people can make some money, but I don't have my fingers crossed.
Clipse, let's get Clipse on Bandcamp. They'll be making a lot more money on there selling their
Honestly, it's funny because I feel like
B-sides.
Bandcamp would be really good for hip hop. Kind of like I feel like there's like a certain kind of hip hop artist would do really well on Bandcamp. It doesn't just have to be like bands that play house shows, but it is a. I mean, I hate it at the same time. Like I don't want to go on Bandcamp, just like I don't want to go on Spotify. They're ugly.
I use Bandcamp for buying music, but it is a really ugly website and it's very not intuitive.
But it's smart it's smart. I mean, not smart. I guess it's lucky to be the only game in town where you can like buy music, kind of.
Yeah, it's
that does make a difference.
Or like Amazon.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to watch. Mama did an Elliott Smith cover, and it was an Amazon exclusive.
The band Mama.
The band Mama did an Elliott Smith cover.
Mama did an Elliott Smith cover last night.
I was like, oh shit, let me go check this out, and then I had to click so many times because I definitely have Amazon Music because I just pay. It comes free with Amazon Prime or whatever. But there was so much clicking that I was just like, I can't. I'll find the rip at a later.
I know,
date.
and it's weird when that happens. I mean, obviously that is annoying when you have several hurdles in order to do something. It's annoying, but I was feeling this a couple days ago on HBO Max or whatever. There's a Gerard Carmichael special coming up soon.
No, it's already out. I watched it.
Or it's already out. But they've been playing this clip of him doing his stand-up where he's like, do you know, I think my boyfriend has never been punched in the face before, kind of thing. And I watched this. I don't even watch that much TV or HBO, but they just played this clip so many times that I feel like my brain and my body feels as if I've already watched his special before it even came out.
Yeah.
And I think there's something going on there that we need to fix.
I mean, at least they showed a clip. Half these specials, you have to search for them the day they come out. They're not even on the front page. There's only two ways it's going to go.
No, I actually, it goes both ways. They promote the hell out of it, and then when it's finally out, you have to call tech support in order to watch it.
Hey, this is Jason Stewart. I'm looking for the Gerard Carmichael special. Could you help me find it? Which aisle is that on?
I've had Berbiglia shoved down my both eye sockets since March 2024, and his special's out today. I heard it on Tim Heidecker's pod. Nowhere to be seen. Is there a puzzle that I have to solve in order to watch this? How does it work?
Please select the photos that have a bridge in them so I can see.
Did you do the CAPTCA yet, Jason? You haven't done the CAPTCA.
I watched that too, and man, he made a really funny.
Bro, you watch more stand-up than I do. For a stand-up hater, this is impressive.
No, because I don't care about it. I can put it on and it's fine. Like the Gerard, I paid attention to because I like him. Because he's a captivating storyteller. I don't know who Mike Birbiglia is for. Like, obviously he's big, but that's just like
he's for 48-year-old soft boys.
That's he himself is a 48-year-old soft boy, but he told a very funny joke that was quite edgy, I thought, and I didn't expect that from him about pedophilia, which is a touchy subject in general.
Go on.
But he was talking about how when he has to hang out with his 9-year-old daughter and her friends, they're so annoying that I don't understand pedophiles.
Okay, that's good.
Which is, it's funny, but I was like, I don't think his crowd super loved it. You know what I mean? I don't know,
bro. These chicks annoying as hell.
That's literally what it was like. I was like, that's funny, and it's like pretty extreme. I don't know enough about him to know if that's extreme, but it felt extreme to me.
I like him taking risks and coming out of his box because I feel like he doesn't even curse. I think he works clean.
Yeah, he might have. Yeah, that's a good point. He's also wearing a funny outfit where he had on like just a t-shirt and like some chinos, but then he had on these like orange Pumas that kind of look cool on him. Like they were like these orange Puma like suedes, like the really simple style, you know? And I was like, this like kind of works for you as like a Los Feliz drop-off guy.
But unintentionally.
Definitely unintentionally, yeah. It just was like...
By the grace of God, it ended up working out.
Occasionally a guy like that will just be like, I like the plainest shit on earth and that looks the best on me. And then I've found these quirky shoes that my daughter liked and now it actually works.
That's beautiful.
I'm happy for him.
I was at the supermarket yesterday doing some grocery shopping, and I had a thought for the girls and the guys, do you think it's a turnoff if you see a man pushing a shopping cart versus carrying the groceries in a basket or 2 baskets?
Oh yeah, no. Cart is
Cart is scaring the hose. Pussy done dried up when you see the cart.
Cart is scaring the hose. I mean, I don't grocery shop.
Okay.
If I do have to go to Whole Foods, the cart would be overkill for me, so I would never really reach for that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the way you shop, as sort of like a Parisian style, where I go to my local markets and purveyors and get the ingredients I need just for today.
Yeah, well, the sorrel will be bad tomorrow, so I have to get it.
You act like I have a choice, Chris. You act like I have a choice. I think that the cart for you feels a little bit overkill if you live in an urban environment and you're not buying Costco groceries for family of 4.
I feel like still, if you're a straight man, whether or not you have a family of 12 to feed or whatever, if you can't fit everything you need for that trip in 2 baskets, one on each hand, you're just simply buying too many groceries.
2 baskets,
and you have to figure it out.
2 full baskets is just a classic Whole Foods farmers carry, which is something I fully back.
I did 2 yesterday. One of them had a watermelon in it.
Oh, that's nice. That's big. That's big boy shit. I'm proud. I'm proud of you for that. But yeah, pushing a cart. I mean, I feel like I'm gonna have to. I've done it. If you're like on a trip, you know what I mean. I guess like
like if you're going to the cabin upstate and we have to get toilet paper and water.
You gotta hit Piggly Wiggly for a week's worth of supplies and ingredients. I don't think you have much of a choice. But in an urban environment,
I think you do have a choice. You let a woman or a gay guy push the cart.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I'm saying the cart is not a choice, but you pushing it is always a choice. That's a great point. That's a great point. And we have to make smart choices.
We have to make smart choices. I think in the near future, I mean, I was thinking about this morning as I see families drop their kids off at school and watching the kid get out of the Range Rover, and when you see people where they're walking so slowly that it looks like they're almost going in reverse. Like their legs are taking steps and swings, but the amount of distance that they travel each step is almost non-existent. Just seeing all these people who walking from your car to a building that's parked in front of is like 50-50 if it's going to happen, if you're able to not look at your phone and not walk into a tree or whatever. I think we're going to be in a place where the shopping cart just follows you. Where like pushing the cart full of your groceries, even that becomes too taxing on the body and the mind. And then there'll just be like a thing that just follows you around like a emotional support.
Yeah, there could be a robot cart in the near future, I think, which
Waymo, Samo kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't think we're far from that. But yeah, I wouldn't want to be seen. I mean, I don't like being seen at a grocery store at all. It's like being seen using a laptop in public. It's just like I would prefer not to.
You don't identify as a grocery buyer.
No, but I also just feel like it sometimes if you run into somebody at the grocery store, you could find something out that you don't want to know by looking, and you're not going to not look in their basket or their cart. You know what I mean? You're going to be like, oh wow, I didn't know you. Oh, so you're still drinking Khalifa almond milk. You haven't moved on to Mount.
Shelf stable almond milk. Wow. Okay. Not even.
Yeah, I just feel like you'll find out something like, oh, those cookies are quite caloric. But okay, if you want to do that, I just feel like there's
365 garbanzos. Okay.
It's extremely revealing, is what I will say. Going through someone's groceries is a very revealing thing, and I feel like even if
that's the banana you thought was good. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Especially if you know what you're looking at, which I don't. If I'm you and I run into a homie at the grocery store and I'm like, oh, I thought you were somebody and you ain't shit based on your basket.
Yeah, according to the pack of cookies in there, you ain't shit.
You ain't shit. You got to also, I mean, if you're going to get cookies, you have to get them fresh from a local bakery and consume them. I actually I wanted to talk to you about this. I had a cookie that shook me to my core. And it was a twisted...
You got a core shaker?
It's from a place called Elbow, which is like a bakery in Dime Square. That's pretty popular, I think, but I hadn't been until over the weekend. And it's a chocolate chip cookie with, salt, sea salt, the usual thing.
Sure.
But then it had a nori on top.
I gotta say, I'm surprised that you enjoyed this.
I loved it. It was delicious and like a little bit weird, but not weird enough because it's still a chocolate chip cookie. You know, I think that. But I was really impressed by the cookie. I thought it was a nice swing.
So the flavor of seaweed.
Yeah, and I like seaweed. I mean, I would eat I like the flavor of seaweed. I wouldn't think to combine it, of course, but I do like it.
Sure. Well, I guess that the seaweed is going to bring in a little umami brightness and really make that chocolate sing more than it was able to do, right?
Yeah, delicious. Highly. I mean, I did get that and a couple pieces of something else, but it was $25 for 2 cookies and a few other. So I paid the price, but the ingredients seemed high quality.
Okay, this is no middle of the mall.
No, it was just delicious. I feel like I've also had like a Balthazar
I'm
cookie.
sure wherever the nori came from, I follow them on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's just a local family-run outfit out of Maine.
So the nori is flown in from Japan daily, and it is considered kind of the best in the world. It's super fresh.
Yeah, their seaweed master. I'm actually going to go see him talk at UCLA next month, but I'm really just just like stoked on what they're doing right now.
I'm just super into it. I think it's really progressive and smart.
Okay, I'm glad we're aligned on the shopping cart discourse. But I wanted to talk about an announcement in the world of sports when we have our show in Chicago, July 19th. Tickets available now. The following day, July 20th, I'm going to be throwing out the first pitch at the Cubs game at Wrigley Field.
Have you started practicing yet?
Yes, I bought 4 balls at Big Five. I got a baseball glove on Amazon. It's a little too small, but we're going to make it work. And I'm just going to get the noodle back in action. My friend of the show, Stevie, he used to play a lot of baseball when he was younger, so we might go down to the park, toss it around.
You got to practice
because Sublime on the boombox.
It's one of those things that everybody always says is much, harder than it looks, and it's much further away than it looks on TV.
Luckily, I have a lot of experience throwing the old baseball around. I played it when I was a kid all the time, so I've got the fundamental mechanics down. I just need to really, what they tell you in the light research I did is like you should be more concerned with the way you present yourself. Waving to the crowd and walking on and off the mound. Like that's where you're more likely to fuck up or look like a freak or something.
That seems insane, actually, to me, because I think throwing the ball and you've seen the disastrous ones. Mm-hmm. I didn't remember them waving to the crowd. I remembered them hitting someone 40 feet away in the nuts. Like I don't remember the crowd.
I think it's also like a men in a picture the audience in their underwear kind of thing. Like if you're focusing on doing a good job, walking onto the mound, waving your hand at the crowd, whatever, knocking the dust off of your cleats or whatever the OCD moves that you do, then you're thinking about that and then you're not in your head about the actual throw itself, which is able to happen, second nature.
Are they going to give you a jersey with your name on it? There
might be a jersey in play. I've seen a few people. I watched a couple vids. I saw Andrew Santino, fellow podcaster, throw one out. But it's interesting trying to put together a look that will pair with a baseball jersey, you know what I mean?
I think it's just that is yeah. I know that you've worn a Supreme baseball jersey at some point, but it's been a long time.
I'm just saying it can go a few different ways, so we're trying out looks. It's an important thing. Do I wear an interesting hat? I want to show love to Benjamin Edgar, King of Chicago. Do I make a political statement with my throw? You know what I mean?
You really think? How would you make a political? I would love for you to tell me how you make a political stance with a throw.
I come out and there's a small OCD awareness flag pin on my jersey. Just something.
I see.
Just let them know.
You should just make sure if they're going to give you a jersey, it's got to say OCD on the back where the name goes. I think that would be really. If you really want visibility,
I'm going to get the bear. Like the gay bear flag logo. It's like
yes,
2 claw prints. Just a little tasteful pin of the bear claws on my hat. My Instagram followers will double overnight. I guess there's not a lot of gay guys watching Major League Baseball games at 1 p.m. on on a Sunday, but
No, this is like everything else in our lives. This is something that only exists on the internet if you share it. Like
nobody knew you did this unless they looked on your Instagram.
yeah, which is
a
a
good
sad
point.
reality of where we are in the world. But also, at least you know you have the power to distribute.
But what a feather in the cap, what a notch on the bed in life. It's one of those things where it's like, you know, you tell your grandkids like, oh, I ranked here on Spotify, and we sold our show out at this venue, and like they're like, I don't know what that is, and then you like threw out the first pitch, and they're like, that's something.
I don't know if. Do you think baseball will exist? What do you think's gonna last longer, baseball or Spotify?
Oof, fun question. Baseball for sure. Baseball.
I don't know.
Baseball is it went down for a while, but it's only growing in size.
Oh, is it bad? I knew there was a period. Didn't they like change some rules to make it move faster?
They did, yeah. They changed a few different rules to make it move
That's
faster.
actually I really appreciate that sort of like knowing that this shit is boring as fuck and knowing that the attention spans are lessening and figuring out a way to improve that is really smart.
Much like the amendments in our government or commandments in the Bible. It's great when you could recognize some flaws in rules and regulations that were created hundreds of years ago. People are able to manipulate the system and change it. It's nice to be able to change those rules accordingly. You know, people found out hacks and workarounds around baseball to make you win. That's not fun to watch, and that's not fair to do. Change that shit.
After I watched that Netflix show about the Boston Red Sox, and the coach on the Boston Red Sox was like had gotten fired for like stealing signs couple from a different team like years ago. And again, it's like the new Olympics where they let you use steroids, like stealing signs. Come on, man. That's like you have to. That's cool that you know how to do that. You know what I mean. It's like magic trick. It's not like you're putting fucking pine tar on the ball. You know, it feels. Stealing signs is like card counting. Like you shouldn't. That should be. If you get caught doing that, they should pat you on the back and say you're smarter than us.
Yeah, I think that's a good analogy, and I think it's not the issue of the person who has found out the thing that is the flaw. The flaw is the game itself. If you're able to win by doing something get an advantage by doing something very difficult. If you're able to count the cards, and if you don't like that, change the rules of the game, or just
change the rules.
Fix it.
When I was with the ultra marathoners, I was talking about IV drips, and they're like, "Yeah, we can't even do that because it's like it might like testing is so extreme."
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, "You can't like." You're saying when you get back from killing yourself in like Switzerland, you can't go to pause?
Like, wait a minute, your body looks like it's doing pretty good. Something strange is afoot.
Yeah, they were like,
you have healthy levels of vitamins and minerals in your body, and
something's wrong here. But they're basically like, yeah, you can, and it might be okay, but like it's just not worth it. It's not worth the risk.
Like, so you're an ultra marathon runner, and you're currently alive and breathing and walking right now.
Yeah, something's. Yeah, I think we gotta look into this. Let's get the police over. Let's do a cavity search just quickly while we have them over here, if you don't mind. If you don't mind, I went to Zaffri's last night with Al Wilmot, who was in town.
I don't know about Zaffri's.
It's at the 22. It's
Oh, okay.
It was. I really like it actually. It's sort of like Middle Eastern-y, but the
Cafe Zaffri.
Yeah, there's like a cabbage main dish that is delicious, but there's also this like eggplant that's almost like, like super flat and then breaded, and it's a little spicy, it is really something. And I have had it 3 times now, and it really hits every time.
Fried eggplant, black sesame, urfa, biber, and toom.
Yeah, delicious.
Okay.
Delicious.
Damn, that's a Rostam ass dish right there.
It really is. It really is. Yeah,
It sounds good. What was the other one you said? It was a
cabbage.
Caraflex cabbage with pine nuts and chilies.
Let me tell you something.
28.
When you order cabbage with Al Wilmot, can you imagine I can't say what he said to me on the podcast, but you can imagine the reaction when you order cabbage as a main course.
The slur that he must have thrown in your direction, huh?
Yeah, which is deserved. If I am ordering cabbage for a main dish, I expect to be shamed a little bit.
Caraflex cabbage. That's like it's like a cone head cabbage. It's like farmer's market bait, basically.
But is Caraflex, what is that like? It sounds like a brand name. It sounds like a brand of plastics, but what is that actually?
It's just it's a variety of cabbage where it looks like a teardrop. Like
Okay.
one end is round, like a normal, like the base of it is round, but instead of being like a sphere, it goes up into a cone, so it kind of in the shape of like an arrowhead or a teardrop, maybe.
I see.
It tastes the exact same as far as I know, but I think people just buy it because it looks funny.
Yeah, I mean,
So when you get it, is it whole? Is it like cut in half like a steak and it has like an interesting shape, or is it just chopped up?
no, it's whole. It's whole, and the shape
Okay.
is kind of funny now you think about
That
it.
must be an arresting image on the plate.
But I'll also say that I don't know if I know what cabbage looks like, if I'm being honest with you. So I don't know if.
Keep it all the way a band with you. I'm not positive I know what a cabbage looks like. You couldn't pick one out in a police lineup.
Yeah, no way.
That's cool, man.
No
Then
way,
you really
man.
shouldn't be grocery shopping. Yeah, so wish me luck. If there's any pitchers who live in the Glendale area, slide into my DMs, put me onto a little work program. But I've been trying to do a lot of shoulder stuff and a lot of kind of core side to side stuff to get that toss
I
going.
think you're taking this a little more seriously than you need to. I think you need to work on throwing the ball. I don't think you need to work on your mobility so you don't get Tommy John surgery. I think that you
Look,
can throw. If you're throwing one pitch out, you need to work on throwing the pitch out.
I'm fine with the throw, but I also need to consider how my bird chest ass is going to look filling out a baseball jersey, so I need to...
Well, that's not. You can't change that fast. You don't have time for that. That's what I'm saying. You don't have
2 months, I could get my chesticles up a little bit, right?
Yeah, actually, yeah, you got a month. Yeah, let's do 200 push-ups a day. See, and go from there, and then you may.
What else you got?
Yeah, sure. Anything else? Anything else?
I'm around like 60 a day right now is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, 60 a day is fine. I mean, if I'm going to do push-ups, I'm going to do 100 in sets of 20. But 200 is a lot. But I think a lot of people do a push-up thing where it's like throughout the day, and I can't really do that. That's not my.
I do that. I sometimes when I'm in the kitchen, I'm waiting for a pan to warm up. I'll blast 10 out real quick, bing bang.
No, it makes sense. It's a good use of time, especially if you like sit at a desk all day. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like
I'm doing push-ups right now.
Once I leave the gym, I'm either walking. That's about the only exercise I'm gonna get. That's about it. But yeah, so how long gone? We are hitting the road. Also, we're gonna do a show in London. Actually, August 4th at the 100 Club. We are going to see Oasis August 3rd at Wembley, and then we're gonna do a show the Monday right after that. So we'll put up a link for tickets. Our guest is gonna be Blondie, who's actually in town, which is I'm excited about.
Good.
He feels like the most British guest we could possibly have, which is kind of what we're always shooting for.
Hopefully he also attends the Oasis show and we can all just do a download Vibe report, Substack style report about it. And then of course anyone who goes to Oasis at Wembley, bring your ticket stub to How Long Gone Live and you get in for the same amount of money. We just want to see it, and you don't get anything for it. I'll give you a sticker.
Yeah, I'll break you off. But yeah, so get your tickets now for DC, Chicago,
Minneapolis,
Toronto, and Minneapolis.
Also, Minneapolis. Fingers crossed, God willing, we'll have a special guest who has been on How Long Gone before, who happens to also be in town, and we can hopefully have them on stage with us.
Fingers crossed. HowLongGone.com is the website. We will be back. We gave you a one-on-one today because Monday we have a guest. So read the cover of Sunday Styles before you listen on Monday, and we'll go from there.
Oh, what a fun literary Easter egg.
Exactly. Thank you.
Good day to you, sir.
Good day.